Everyone likes traveling to a certain degree, some more than others, of course, but in my opinion, nothing quite beats that feeling of stepping out of a plane after a long flight with an entirely new place to explore for the very first time. And as the world slowly begins to open back up, people are beginning to feel more and more comfortable with the idea of travel again. Whether you want to see the beautiful architectural marvels in Japan, view the sweeping landscapes of Norway, travel to your fridge to get an ice-cold beer as you waste away your pathetic life sitting on the couch watching TV for the millionth time, or roaming the green hills of San Francisco. At the end of the day, to do all the things that I listed, you need a shelter to spend the night. And this is where AirBNB comes in, ticker symbol ABNB. And I'll be honest, AirBNB has done really well for themselves as a business over the last few years, even through the pandemic. In fact, AirBNB became one of the world's most valuable startups just 7 years after its founding. That's not exactly something that's easy to achieve. And it was during this time where AirBNB was able to achieve name recognition and perfect a great business model that allows renters and rentees to both mutually benefit. The rentee is allowed to essentially choose whatever neighborhood they want to live in, which gives them more freedom in both location and price than a hotel would. And on the other side of the coin, the renter gets to utilize a spare property or room that they already have so they can generate some passive income. It's a win-win. AirBNB was actually one of the largest IPOs of 2020, with a deal size of 3.5 billion USD. Their current market cap is roughly 82 billion, and they actually beat their first quarter gross bookings as well as their revenue earnings expectations. And still, the stock is down over 30% from its highs in February. And on Monday, May 17th, that was the day where the lockup period expired for the stock, meaning that all the insiders and employees now have the right to sell their shares if they wish. And of course, the effect on the stock being that it fell another 8%. And while the lockup period expiration sell-offs are definitely nothing new to the stock market, I think this creates a pretty interesting opportunity if you were already thinking of investing in this company to begin with, but didn't like how rich the valuation was trading at. And furthermore, since AirBNB first opened for trading on the Nasdaq at $146 per share, the stock has now officially fallen below its initial opening price, making this stock even more attractive. And rightfully so, as the lockup period always poses a concern for a lot of investors due to these inevitable sell-offs. But now that the lockup period is off the table, I think people are beginning to approach the stock with a set of fresh eyes and much less trepidation now. So let's get into AirBNB and if I think this stock is a buy right now. So I think the best way to understand AirBNB is looking at it from an international perspective. When people travel outside the United States, they can still rely on AirBNB because the services that they offer are not tied down to any one particular country, which really opens up the TAM for this company. And as a counterexample, there is another similar company to AirBNB called VRBO, which more or less offers the same services. However, there's not really anyone outside of the United States that knows what VRBO is. And that's where some of the safety lies in investing in a company like AirBNB, as they are this international brand, which means if you're someone who travels a lot and needs rentals to stay at, then you don't really need a bunch of apps downloaded on your phone that meet different country prerequisites. You just download AirBNB once and you're good to go. So just to put something into perspective, listen to this. The Marriott has 1.4 billion rooms worldwide, and the Hilton has 1 million, while AirBNB, by stark contrast, has 5.6 million listings. So in short, AirBNB is a company that is still relatively young, and they have managed to cultivate more than double the listings of the two largest hotel companies in the world combined. And listen to this, because this next part is really important for where this stock could end up going this year. On May 24th, AirBNB is going to have a pretty big announcement. Basically, AirBNB will be announcing the hugest reworking of their platform that they're claiming they've ever had. These changes to their platform are intended to lower the barrier for entry for hosts. So what this means is it's going to be even easier to become a host on Airbnb. And I love this because it shows that the company is investing and dedicating their time on not only improving their platform, but also growing their revenue base through these host incentives, which, let's be clear, we don't exactly know what these changes will be, but I think we can assume that it's going to be extremely beneficial for the Airbnb business model moving forward. I also think that with businesses becoming more and more flexible with working from home, people are realizing that they can still get their job done from anywhere on the globe, which is going to open up even more opportunities for Airbnb to accommodate all the people who want to live that flexible lifestyle of traveling and exploring new places. I mean, depending on your career, a lot of people have found that as long as they have a laptop, they can work. So why should they be bound to live in only one location if they want to travel more, you know? However, there are some risks when it comes to Airbnb stock. One of them being regulation, meaning restrictions in certain areas and neighborhoods on where an Airbnb rental can be offered. And the next risk being the housekeeping and cleaning fees. And with inflation on the rise, who knows where these prices could end up, as they're already pretty high as they are right now, moving upwards of $100. But I think in the grand scheme of things, these are short-term hindrances that I think won't really have a drastic impact on the consumer base for Airbnb. And the last thing I want to discuss is the current pricing of Airbnb stock. Like I mentioned, the current market cap of Airbnb is $82 billion, which, let's be honest, is pretty high, at least in my opinion. So while I do think that the current Airbnb price right now is lower than it will be years out from now, I think there could potentially be a better buying opportunity if the stock sinks lower. For me to feel comfortable investing in a company like this, I'd like to see it have a market cap of around 60 or 65 billion before I start buying shares. And just for reference, that would give this company a stock price of around $100 per share. However, being that we have a catalyst coming up on May 24th, and the fact that this company continues to expand its consumer base, there's always a chance we could see a spike in share price leading up to May 24th. But overall, there's no denying that there's been a huge cultural shift over the last few years in regards to how we view flexibility when it comes to homes, our work, and travel. And I think Airbnb is really pushing the idea of travel in a fresh, exciting, and new direction that is going to remain relevant for a very long time. So that's the video I've got for you guys today. Thanks as always for watching, and I'll see you next time.